Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and recently, right after the stream over at US Alliance 551 that we had on Saturday, right after that stream, I actually spent a decent chunk of time leveling in 735. I've made videos about leveling 735 in the past, and you guys all know how much I enjoy the idea, but I've never actually truly spent hours leveling. So here I am, after leveling a Warlock for a couple of hours as an allied race, and getting myself anywhere between from level 30 to 40 down to, I think I ended up at 52, maybe 53. I actually enjoyed the experience, but I do have some comments on it. So in this video I kind of want to take a time to comment on the leveling experience at 735 and my actual experience with it, my actual hours that I got to sink in, besides all the stuff I did on PTR, like the live server stuff that I got to do, and tell you guys whether I still believe what I believed about 735 in the past, or if my opinion changed at all. I guess we'll start it in chronological order. Now let's talk about the very first hour of the XP grind. The very first hour actually didn't feel like a fun experience at all. The first hour I am leveling felt slow, felt sluggish, it felt that my rotation isn't hitting hard enough, it felt that it takes forever for me to actually kill mobs and get used to my rotation. It just didn't feel that great. Slow leveling meant that my experience wasn't really gaining all that high, all that fast. Slow leveling meant that I'm not getting through quests fast enough. Slow leveling with the downtime of running to places, with the downtime of my rotation not being all that great as a Warlock, was increasing my downtime even more. Because mobs have a lot more health, I actually have to learn how to play my class. It feels like for the first hour you're playing, you have no idea what the hell you're doing. And I didn't start at level 1 either, I started at level 20 where the stuff actually starts to get a little bit more in high gear. And even with full heirlooms, I'm actually somewhat struggling on some of these mobs. For the first hour, it actually felt like a terrible experience. And I think that this is the experience that a lot of people talk about when they say that Blizzard has won. They're forcing me to boost the character, I cannot handle this terrible leveling experience. But then every hour after that was better than the next. I honestly can say I love this kind of leveling. It's not perfect, and I do want to add some things that maybe Blizzard could get better at in terms of the new leveling system. Some things that they could change that would actually be for the better. Some things that are more about earning rewards rather than just giving it to players, but we'll get to that in a second. After the first hour, things really did start to pick up though. I started learning on my second hour the best pathing for quests. Trying to get as many quests as possible, trying to minimize the downtime of me running from place to place, although the combat with mobs is something that was still an issue for me. It still took me a little bit too long to kill them because I just don't really know my class. I don't even know how to use my rotation properly. I'm just kind of trying to fend angle whatever I see from a guide as best as I can online and just try to hope for the best. I simply just cannot kill things fast enough, so I'm trying to avoid mobs as best possible. And at this point, I'm actually able to pick up quests, I'm able to pick up a batch of them, complete a batch of quests, turn them in, fly paths, everything. I'm able to utilize all the different tools for mobility to plan out my route, something I haven't used for questing in a while. My third hour was spent learning how to play Demonology, really learning how to play it, not just looking up a guide and then following rotation, but really getting the feel for the spec, something that I have for my Outlaw Rogue. When people first try Outlaw, whether they play Subtlety or Assassination previous, they'll usually tell me, hey Dalaran, why does the energy regeneration of Outlaw feel so slow and trashy? Why is my ramp up burst just so rampy? Why does the spec feel so weird to play? Why am I always having to change up my rotation? When I would tell people that this is pretty normal for Outlaw. The energy regeneration it has is actually perfect for the spec. Yes, you are rampy, but there's a reason for it, and you can kind of overcome that rampiness with some legendary combos and some talent choices, and the rotational changes are part of the specialization. When I play Outlaw, I play it every day. I really get the feel for the specialization. I really get to feel it. Not just, oh, I know exactly which ability I need to press. It's more like I get to feel which ability I get to press. Which I feel like if you've been playing specialization long enough, that's kind of how you play. You don't really play because, okay, 3-1, 3-2, you know, just keeping a mind, a specific rotation in your head. You really get a feel for rotation. You really can switch up different abilities if ever necessary. And that's kind of what I was feeling with Warlock. I'm actually learning how to play my spec, learning how to adjust whether I'm fighting 1 mob, 2 mob, 3 mobs, 6 mobs, learning how to use my pet in order to aggro them while I stun them, drop a bunch of imps, AoE them down really quickly, move on to the next pack, fight a boss, how do I position my pets, which pets I should use first, which should I rotate CC, and it just really gets a feel for specialization. I learned while playing for the 3rd hour that Demonology is a slow spec. It is a lot like Affliction in terms of dots. You really have to let him get running and rolling, but the ability is you can kind of pull multiple mobs at the same time, and you can use your mobs in order to, let's say, you get your mobs to attack one target while you go loot some quest items at the same time. So kind of like 2 birds with 1 stone. Demonology is really good at fighting big boss mobs, so if there's any quest that requires 2 or 3 people, the specialization actually has enough pets, enough healing and tanking capability from your pet in order to take on these challenging mobs and bosses. So it felt like wherever I go, as long as I'm pulling 1 mob, no matter how big or small it is, I can always take care of it. So those big bosses that would normally do hefty amounts of damage if you were just a warrior or just a rogue or just a monk, as a demonology warlock, I wasn't feeling it. I would just letting my pets tank it and letting my pets kind of do the damage while I stay way far away in safety. The weakness of the specialization is if you get overcrowded with too many mobs and your pet does die when they kill the pet, you don't really have any out, so you kind of have to make sure you don't really fall behind. And these are some of the things I learned, and it really felt like I'm starting to think like a warlock, I'm starting to play like a warlock, and it felt like I'm getting better at the specialization, my positioning, my rotation, maximizing my cooldowns, maximizing my global cooldowns, maximizing my pets. It really felt like I'm learning how to play the spec. Overall, if I had to say anything, I think Blizzard could add a little more incentive for the questing. Of course, questing is kind of its own incentive because you get to reach max level and you get to see the endgame content. But one of the things that I found myself enjoying is the fact that you can quest anywhere. So I went at level 40 to a zone called Azuna, some place where you usually start at level 10 and end at level 20. Because of the scale technology, I could actually do the whole zone, see the full quest line, and finish the zone, something I've never done before. I've never played it to the end, I've never even seen some of the quest zones ever since Cataclysm. I never finished it. I usually get halfway through it, and then I get level 15, I jump in a dungeon, I get level 20, I jump in a dungeon again, I get level 23, and then I keep dungeon grinding up until maybe level 30, 40, and then I go out and quest in zones that are 30, 40, or 50. And that's usually how I quested from all my tunes. But here I actually went back to a zone that I enjoyed and I liked. And I've done some of the other zones, like I completed the storylines for it, the chapters that you see in the quest marker. I think Blizzard could do with those quest markers to reinforce the idea that, hey, go back and finish that story. Go back and finish the story you enjoyed. I think some of the things they could do with this is they could maybe give XP for various zones. If you complete the full story of a zone, you get a little bit extra XP in the Vanilla, BC, Mists of Pandaria, Cataclysm, maybe even Warlords of Draenor zones. If you go and do every single quest to complete the zone, depending on how hard the zone is, maybe Blizzard could give a little more incentive. The harder zones that take forever could give you maybe enough XP to almost get a level, if not actually level worth of XP. And then there are easier zones like the level we normally quest at level 10, 15, 20. Those zones usually are quicker because you don't really have as much running back and forth in your mount. They're usually designed for characters that don't have a mount, so for those characters with a mount, you actually get around from quest to quest a lot faster, a lot easier. Those zones could actually have maybe slightly less XP, or just overall less XP, than the harder zones. So then it could give players a reason to complete zones and kind of just reinforce the idea that, hey, you have the ability with scale technologies to complete the storyline, you might as well do it. When you complete it, you get a little bit extra XP, which works out for you to just finish out the zone. I think it'd be a cool way for players to continue and finish an area. I think it'll be awesome because it'll allow people to really explore the zones, and it'll kind of just teach the player to continue doing the exploration, to continue teaching the player to finish up a zone. I think it would be overall good. Overall, I'd say the questing is, I like it. The first hour definitely felt a little bit weird because I'm actually sitting down, actually leveling, and I'm playing probably one of the worst classes to level in because it just feels so slow. If I played anything like a rogue, warrior, monk, maybe even mage to an extent, any class that has more instantaneous damage, maybe even if I played destruction warlock, I might have had a faster experience. But the first hour was definitely pretty jarring when you really get into it. But every hour after that have been better and better and better. So that's my experience on the 735 leveling as like the re-evaluation of it. I definitely think Blizzard could do more in terms of XP grinds, maybe more incentives for more XP to kind of encourage players to do more questing. But with allied races, it's just so cool that, because I'm questing right now on all these zones, and I see so many players questing compared to prior to 735 and allied races. I used to see nobody questing in any of the areas. Barely anybody questing. Most people just are sitting on their mains and doing the content in Legion. So this is cool because it feels like the game is really lively and really fresh. As always, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this kind of discussion, 735 as well as 5v5 1v1 duels and BFA updates, be sure to hit subscribe to the channel in order to catch every single video we put out. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Likes allow my videos to reach a wider audience and grow my channel. So if you could help me out with it, that would be great. If you guys want to catch our live streams, then be sure to hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button down below in order to catch every single live stream that we do. We do them every single day except for Thursday, Thursday being our day off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about your 735 leveling, questing, because I'm pretty sure everybody has done a little bit of that with allied races now. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one.